Kyle Whittingham is one of the most important figures in the history of football in the state of Utah. And it certainly looks like the ride is coming to an end. I think we've all seen the tumult of the last 2 years at Utah, especially the last year. Two players being, shot to death. You have multiple tragedies. The wear and tear that is so obvious on the face of Kyle Whittingham, the lack of enthusiasm, the lack of energy and results in the program at Utah. Jake, I wonder, are we watching the end of an era at Utah football?
Yeah, I mean, it's always a matter of time. You never know when it's going to happen or how quickly it's going to happen or anything. You never really know. But yeah, I do believe that we are watching the beginning of the end right now, and I think the reason I say that personally is because I don't see the energy in the program. I don't see the consistency that we're used to in the program, and I think that starts from the top down. And I think Witt is the very top of the program, obviously. And yes, there has been a lot of tragedy in the program, absolutely, and that definitely plays a role. But I think Witt has just been there for so long now that I think it's probably getting to that time where for him, I think he's probably, in a place where he's ready to kind of do the next thing in his life. He's not getting any younger. So, yeah, I think, yes, we are seeing the beginning of the end. And I think if you're a Utah fan, you have to try to enjoy, what is it, the last 7 or 8 games you got left on the schedule with this current setup.
I don't know how you change this. I don't know how you change what's been going on at Utah because I also think that you have a situation where I don't know how you don't struggle if you're Kyle Whittingham. With what's gone on in the program, obviously with the Ty Jordan situation, the Aaron Lowe situation, in his personal life, he's had losses. Like, you just see the days ticking off the face of Kyle Whittingham. And I don't know if the right word is need a change, but something, as we've talked about all year, is wrong at Utah. And, over the last several days, just talking to people, talking to boosters, talking to people around the program, you just get the sense that it's over. That's the phrase that keeps coming up, that at Utah football, it's over. What we have known for a decade plus
Yeah.
in Kyle Whittingham is coming to an end. And I don't know that people have truly stopped to think about what Witt means to that program and what Kyle Whittingham has meant to football in the state of Utah. The development of Utah into a true P5 power, a Pac-12 frontrunner. All of that seems so unlikely when he arrived. His time starting at BYU, like just all of the history that is built into the Whittingham name when it comes to football in the state of Utah. Witt's indelible impression on the rivalry, the dominance of the rivalry, the dominance of Kyle Whittingham in the rivalry, all of these things that we have seen for so long that I think on some level a lot of Utah fans have taken for granted, and how would you not? Because winning has just become so consistent up on the Hill. And now that is likely coming to an end, because you don't have this many rumors and this much conversation about somebody's future just to have the status quo remain. It doesn't feel like that, Jake, and I think there's no other way to say it, that we've likely taken Kyle Whittingham for granted.
Oh, I think there's no doubt. I think you look around the Pac-12, and the simple question is whether the program has as much reliability as Utah has really had. I feel like we talk about Washington a lot on this show. When Chris Peterson left that program, you see what happens, and I think that's really the prime example of this whole situation on the Hill. It is a situation where you've got old reliable and Kyle Whittingham coming to the end of his time, and I think it's really a tough thing. I think as if you're a fan of Utah football, you don't know what the future holds. I think it would be very easy for this program to return to mediocrity and not being great once Witt leaves. But who the hell knows? Who knows who's going to step up? Who knows who they hire? But I think at the end of the day, really what the conversation is now is that this team, I kind of feel like is just grinding out the rest of this year, and it is what it is. That's just where things are at. And when you look at, well, can they win the South, or can they do, can they potentially make a push for a college football playoff spot or something? I just don't think that that's where this program is at. I think it started with the loss in the Holy War, and I think it just continues. You like look at the Washington State game. They were down. They were losing that game, and you come back and win it. So there's still fight left in the players, but I don't think that this program, just from a quality standpoint, is where it usually is, which is really sad. And I think, with when you look at the landscape of sports in the state of Utah, I think we're going to get to everything that happened in the radio landscape here in a while, but I think when you look at just the general big picture 50,000-foot view, when Kyle Whittingham does inevitably leave Utah, that is going to change the landscape forever. And I think you can't put a price on that. I think you can't put you can't measure how much that's going to affect. Just how much that's going to affect the landscape. So yeah, I think yes, we need to enjoy Whit while he's still the coach at Utah, but at the same time, I can tell you now, it's not going to be some glorious end to his time based on where the program's at.
I just think we're past that now. Enjoying Kyle Whittingham or appreciating. I think we're past that. We're watching a guy, in my opinion, that is a shell of what he used to be emotionally. And I don't know how all of this happened. I mean, obviously the shootings, you can't go through that. You can't have two of your players die in the span of a year and not have that impact your soul. That's going to happen. The thing is, there's something happening with Kyle Whittingham. Nobody seems to know what that is, but everybody seems to agree that there's something there. If you don't have the energy and if you don't have the momentum, it's very difficult to win football games. And you've seen Kyle Whittingham shedding tears over the last several weeks. You felt like this was supposed to be that year where Utah broke out, dominated the South, played for a Rose Bowl berth. Like you felt like this was supposed to be that year, and nothing has gone to plan. Nothing has gone to form. Charlie Brewer was an abject failure at Utah. He quit the team. Your starting quarterback quit the team, just walked out. How is that possible? That doesn't happen under Kyle Whittingham, right? I mean, I don't know. I don't know when we've seen a defense under Kyle Whittingham with so many question marks. And that's the thing that's shocking. The hallmarks of Kyle Whittingham football teams are no longer in place. Like that's the thing where you don't know how to process all of this that's going on.
Yeah, how are they so undisciplined? How is the defense not what it's always been? And this is how it happens too. Like, I've thought about this a lot. This is how it always happens in football. You look at it's like, whether you're at the pro level or the college level, when a coach either falls off their game or however you want to describe it, right? When they're just not the same guy that they used to be, all these things start to happen that you're just not used to, which is why you lose the Holy War or you struggle against Washington State or, any of these things. So it just is, it's a really sad thing because I think Utah football is, even if you're a BYU fan, even if you grew up in Provo and have never left the state of Utah and don't, literally are just, this is your bubble. Like, even if you're that person, you surely have to respect what Utah's done. What Witt has done for Utah. So it's just a sad thing.
Well, I mean, even if you're a BYU fan, I mean, obviously Kyle Whittingham's a BYU alum. And I don't think that's at all a secret or lost on anybody. But I just look at this situation. Kyle Whittingham's done something at Utah that's very difficult to transition from Mountain East to the Pac-12 and do it well and win consistently is very hard to do. The scale up in talent, as BYU's about to find out, the scale up in talent to go from the Mountain, which is just a putrid league, to the Pac-12 is massive. You have to add so much talent. But what's shocking about this Utah football team is it seems to lack talent. It seems to lack a true number one running back. It seems to lack top 3 wide receivers.
Yeah.
Like it's stunning to me that Britton Covey's your number one wide receiver. And I don't take anything away from Britton Covey in saying that. He's not a take the top off the defense guy. He's not a burner guy. He's an undersized slot receiver, right? I think everybody agrees with that. I don't think that Brant Keithy has taken a step forward this year. I think his performance is a little surprising.
Yeah.
Hell, he may not even be the number one tight end target on this team right now. Like the offensive line is terrible. It's not good. The defensive line is average. Devin Lloyd is that defense. They're making mistakes on defense that you just don't see Kyle Whittingham defenses make. Is that because Witt's not focused? Is that because he's got his mind somewhere else? I don't know. I have no idea. It's shocking the level that this team has fallen to, because you just never see this kind of, and maybe this is how it happens. I don't know.
It is.
Maybe
it is how it happens.
Maybe this is how it happens.
Yeah, it is, let me preface that. So I think, with all the tragedy that's happened in the program, that's not typically how things happen, right? We need to first say that, you know. So like, I think with the tragedy that's happened, with this program, I think that it has sped up the process. I think it's facilitated Kyle Whittingham really struggling, mentally and emotionally. I think it's just very difficult on a human being when you're losing kids like that. That's just not easy to deal with. So that's number one. But then number two, in terms of how this happens, this does happen. Like, you look at, any example you want to use. I don't have one off the top of my head, but you have a great coach who just comes to the end of the line. And the end of the line sometimes is a hard stop. The end of the line sometimes can be a painful, miserable end. And so I just think that for the rest of this season, if you're a Utah fan, I would kind of temper your expectations and just try to enjoy what time we have left, because to your point, everything that we're hearing from some of the people we know inside the program is that this is probably it. He's coming up to the finish line here.
Well, and of course, Ace is losing his mind on Instagram.
Vanish mode.
Yeah, essentially saying, before you get to shining knob for BYU, of course you would rip Witt and Utah. How are we at all ripping Witt and Utah?
Yeah, we're not ripping anybody.
What are you talking about? Like, I think the thing that is so surprising is, again, and maybe this is the NBA and the Jazz conversation, whatever. Tell me what we've said here that's been at all disrespectful. I don't think there's a Utah fan right now who's happy with how 2021 has gone. Nobody.
I don't think Witt's happy about it. I don't think anybody's happy about it.
That much is pretty damn obvious. Yeah. Witt's not happy about it. But I think at some point, all great stories have a final chapter.
Yeah.
And if this is it for Kyle Whittingham, I was talking to like 4 or 5 guys last night. I don't see Kyle Whittingham quitting in the middle of the season. There were rumors that he was going to announce, there was going to be a major announcement from Utah football today. I don't think that's happening. I really don't. I think they're in a bye week. I think they will come back to work next week and be ready to rock and roll. Yeah. I think this Aaron Lowe situation has just taken the wind out of everybody's sails. And I think that Kyle Whittingham is processing that. I don't see Witt quitting in the middle of the season. I just don't. He is a player's coach. He is a guy that cares deeply about his players. If we've learned nothing from the Ty Jordan, Aaron Lowe, situations, it's that Kyle Whittingham loves and cares about each one of his guys.
Yeah.
And, Ty Jordan obviously was a stud. He was your number one. Aaron Lowe was a depth defensive back. That's what Aaron Lowe was. And Kyle Whittingham's soul is being drained out of his body over that situation. That's a guy who cares about his players, right? When you see, the stories about Kyle Whittingham crying with Aaron Lowe's mom, and Kyle Whittingham is a soulful, caring human being.
Yeah.
I don't see him quitting in the middle of a season. I don't. I think after the season's over, I could see Kyle Whittingham retiring. I could. He's not young in terms of coaching. He's in his middle 60s. So I could absolutely see that happening. I just think it's a very difficult situation.
Yeah, it's painful.
You know,
It's rough.
the whole thing sucks. Dane says, "Morning, boys." Explosive Pocky says, "Hello, when's the giveaway?"
Old reliable.
Old reliable. The giveaway is at 2,500 subscribers. We are currently at 2,282. So we picked up 20 something from yesterday.
I want more.
We pick up about 20 something, 15 to 20 every day.
Yeah.
So we've got like 218 subscribers to go. Then we'll give away the Traeger Smoker.
10 days.
Then we'll give away, something like that. Then we'll give away the Xbox. You need to, in order to win the Traeger or the Xbox, you need to get into the drawing by taking a photo that you're subscribed, tagging SLC Supercars or The Monty Show on Twitter, Instagram, or TikTok. The Monty Show on Twitter, Instagram, or TikTok. SLC Supercars, even though he drives a beat-up Subaru that's a rust bucket where bolts are falling off of it.
And he wakes up the neighbors.
Supercars. And he pisses off the neighbors. Jake pulls up and a little pee comes out.
Yeah.
But anyway, SLC Supercars.
Yeah.
He actually has one of the nicest Subaru WRXs in the state, but whatever. With blue swing arms on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just me.
Cobb tuned and everything.
Yeah.
Anyway, the point is,
Rocket ship.
take a picture, post it on social, The Monty Show, SLC Supercars, and you're entered to win. By the way, if you're here right now, please give us a thumbs up and hit like. Spencer Morgan, what is up with you? Edgar Garcia says, my boys, let's get it. Happy Friday. Spencer Morgan says, yep, it's definitely on the downhill. I think they need to snatch up Jay Hill before somebody else does. Greg Hawkins, good morning to you. He says, hey, fellas. The Blind Swordsman DS says, it's very sad. I wouldn't wish the tragedies they have had on my worst enemy. No, of course not. I mean, I think when you look at what Kyle Whittingham and the Utes have been through over the last year with the death of two players, I mean, no. Greg Hawkins says, even if Whittingham retires after this season, I'll always be grateful for what he did for our program. Such a great coach.
Yeah.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
I mean, he just is a guy that if you handed his resume to any coach, they'd be thrilled to have it. I mean, football is not what makes Kyle Whittingham great. He is a really good human. He is a really good human. That's what makes Kyle Whittingham great. Spencer says, I wouldn't characterize Utah under Witt as great. I would characterize them as consistently good. So, yes, you're right. A slide back down the lower level is certainly possible. But I also think there's a higher ceiling. Oh, for sure. For sure. I think Kyle Whittingham's failure as a football coach at Utah is he's never had one of the best offenses in the conference. He has always had the best defense in the conference. They have never had the best offense.
And it's hurt them in recruiting a lot.
Yeah, they've never had a prolific quarterback. They've never had, Ty Jordan was easily going to be the best running back in the conference this season. Unfortunately, in tragedy strikes.
Yeah.
But you've never had, I mean, what you think of, I go back to Kenny Scott and Drez Anderson. I mean, those two guys, with, Murphy at tight end, like that was a good core of receivers. Jake Murphy, and I mean, that was a good core of receivers. But that still wasn't even close to the best group in the conference.
Yeah.
Right? Like their Kyle Whittingham's failures have always been a lack of offense. And I agree with you. No top quarterback. Jackson Dart was never going to Utah. It was never happening.
And I think that's, that's a possible, that's a possible change in the program that could happen when Witt finally does, call it quits or move on or however you want to word it. But, I just think right now you just have to maybe enjoy is not even the word, but just almost like savor Witt's last days almost, as Utah coach. Like, I think you just have to do that because you're not going to find a lot of guys like him.
And the question is, how do you replace Kyle Whittingham? Because I don't think it's Morgan Scalley. I could be wrong.
I don't think, I was thinking about this too. Like, I don't think you replace a guy like Kyle Whittingham. I don't think you you're gonna ever find somebody who has his quality. You might find someone who's better at footballing. Sure, maybe there's someone out there who can put together better offense, or is more skilled or
Yeah.
whatever. But
Yeah.
I just don't think that it's not at Utah. It's not all about winning. Like, winning is definitely important. It is definitely high up the ladder. But I also think this whole thing about, like, a great maker of men and great culture and like a disciplined program, like, I
Yeah.
think those things really matter too.
Well, and I think that if I'm Utah and Kyle Whittingham retires at the end of this year, I'm going outside the program. I just think Morgan Scally, the scandal with Scally, I think is too much. I mean, Jay Hill's a nice name, but I think you have to go and get somebody that, frankly, is a killer as a recruiter. I mean, I think you got to go. Like, I mean, the first call I would make is Chris Peterson.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the first guy I would call. I don't know. Does he want to come to Utah? Obviously, that's a guy that is a mountain guy. Obviously at Boise, obviously at
Boise.
Washington. Before that, where was he? UC Davis, I think. Sac State, maybe. Chris Peterson would be an ideal fit. That's who I'd go and get, because he can call any high school coach in Utah and he can win a recruiting battle.
Yeah.
And that's important, because you can't go hire some nobody assistant off the East Coast and think they're going to win the recruiting battle in Utah. That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
You need somebody, if you're going outside the program, you need a heavy hitter. But let's not surmise replacements until we need a replacement in Utah. Because that's how you're disrespecting Kyle Whittingham, in my opinion. Matt Turley says, longtime listener on YouTube, rarely can I get on live. As a big BYU fan, I couldn't feel worse for Utah. Man, it'll be tough to see Whittingham go. What a great era of Utah football. The best era of Utah football, in my opinion. And I think when you look at what he's accomplished, it's nothing short of remarkable. Spencer says the defense has taken a statistical step back ever since Scally took over. It's not just this year, but it's the past. They were better at controlling time of possession offensively. Yeah. For everything that his plotting, methodical offenses were, and were not, they were always good at controlling the clock.
Yes.
I do agree that under Morgan, the defense has taken a step back. I do. And I wonder how much of Sharif Shaw and the drama in his personal life with his wife and on the Real Housewives and the indictment and, she claims they were nearly divorced. Like, it seems like everybody's got something going on in that program. And I think you have got to calm the waters there.
Yes.
It seems like there's been so much drama around different guys in that. I mean, the Morgan Scally drama alone was enough to last you the rest of Witt's career.
Yeah.
And then obviously, the shootings and the Sharif Shaws and he's
dealt with a lot, dude. I mean, let's be honest. He's dealt with a lot.
You can't tell me, and I'm not even being dramatic about this, you can't tell me the Real Housewives of Salt Lake thing is good for Utah football, because I just don't think it is. To have one of your top recruiters and coaches in that kind of focus, where there is high drama, illegality, federal indictments in one of your top coaches' families, and you think that's not a problem? I think that is not good for Utah football. I really don't, man. And I think that's exactly the right way. There's been so much drama.
Yeah.
There's been so much drama in the SLC. It's
Yeah.
kind of hard being Kyle Witt,
Double T.
WHITT. That's a Snoop. See, I was rapping. Anyway, point is, first day of the month, boys. Let's go. Gabe Ledley says, yes.
It's Friday.
Let's
Finally.
go. Graham Orme says, Meyer and Witt have turned Utah into one of the most desirable jobs in the West. Whenever Coach Witt leaves, they'll be just fine. I
hope so.
They'll be able to hire. There's no doubt about that. There is no doubt about that. Greg Hawkins says it's hard. I don't think there would be a ton of peer interest in Utah, but we could make a good hire. I like Jay Hill. You really don't think there would be a lot of interest in the University of Utah football head coaching job? Top-notch facilities, brand new renovated stadium, an administration that clearly stands behind the program.
Yeah.
a community that supports the program, a rabid fan base, a passionate fan base.
A path to the college football playoff.
You have a booster base that puts money into the program. You have huge money in the alumni. You're a institution of higher learning. What are you talking about? I think it'd be. I think
it'd be pretty solid.
Absolutely, absolutely. Chris Karn says when K-Witt retires, I would like to see him run out the BYU alumni flag at the next BYU Utah game. Stop, Chris. Why gaslight an entire state like that? Why would you do that, Chris? That would be. By the way, that would be amazing. That would be amazing. Can you imagine?
All gas, no break.
Spencer Morgan says, yeah, Ken Scott was great. So underutilized. He was one of the best bad deep ball catchers that we've ever seen. I mean, you could just put the ball anywhere in the paint and that guy go up and get it. I love and Kenny Scott is such a good dude. He is one of my favorite.
But that's what I mean. How many guys come out of the Utah program and you're like, yeah, that guy, he's a really good dude. Like how many of that program under Witt just produces good human beings, and I think I know that the nice guy doesn't always win, and Kyle Whittingham hasn't won national championships and stuff, but I think he'll be damned if his program isn't putting out good human beings. And I think that to me, when I think about all the scandals and things that have gone on and, all that stuff you were just talking about, none of that is attached to Witt. Like it's not. And I think that's the biggest thing on his resume, or his career, when we look back.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would absolutely agree with that. Gabe Ledley says, when accomplished 20% more than everyone else, crush it on Fridays. Friday's a big day. Now, for us, as sales professionals, we work at Yelp. We build small business for Yelp. And Friday usually is either like you earn time off but it's a very good point. If you close 2 deals on Friday, you're ahead of half the field. Yeah. Now, for a guy who finished number 1 in the company this month,
what's up, motherfuckers?
I'm a bad motherfucker,
Yeah, you did.
Number 1 in the building 3 straight months.
Yeah.
Matt Turley says Aaron Roderick could be a Utah head coach candidate if they really want to fix the offense, but maybe he's locked in Texas. Guys, I'm telling you.
It's not here right now. Like,
go outside of the circle, man. Go outside. Again, I look at a guy like Kalani Sitake. Kalani's a rare breed because he was destined for that job. Like he was the perfect fit in the right place at the right time. How many guys at Utah are that guy?
Yeah.
I'm telling you, go get a Chris Peterson. He's going to be available. He's going to be sitting there waiting for your phone call if Witt retires. And again, I don't want to keep talking about who's replacing Kyle Whittingham when he's still got the job. It's terribly uncouth and disrespectful.